Wait for it to get started. There we go. So today we're focusing on Google search. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything about how to search on Google. We do this all the time. Google search is something that we are probably most familiar with out of any of the Google tools. That's because, we all Google it. If we don't know the answer, we will go and Google it. So for some of today, I'm going to show you some other resources as well. So I'm going to show you Google Trends, which is maybe something that you've not seen before. And Google Trends gathers data from searches, looks at what popular searches are, and there's some nice resources that you can use in your classes there as well. Just a reminder, if you have not joined the classrooms, if you are a newer viewer, classroom codes are on the screen at the moment. This will be in the recording so that you can access this on the Techie Tea Party website later if you don't quite catch them, and these codes are both on the Techie Tea Party website as well. So I'm just going to get started. I am going to open up a new tab to get to Google search. As I'm in Chrome, I always recommend that if you are using any of the Google tools, work within Chrome. Google search is one that will work on anything. We use it on our phones, we use it on tablet devices. That's typically where we would go. There are other search engines out there, but I think Google's probably the one that most of us will use. So what I'm going to do is open up a new tab, and I've got Google search here, or I can always go to google.com as well. So if I type in this straight away, this will be a Google search. If your students are using Chromebooks, or if you're using Chromebooks, on a Chromebook where the caps lock button is on your normal keyboard, that is a search button as well. So you can search Google from there. And as I said in the Explore tool webinar for the Google Docs and slides, there's also Google search built into the Explore tool. If I just open up my Techie Tea Party one, I need to peek from my laptop screen, and we can also search the web from the Explore tool. So this is where there's quite a few different ways of doing Google searches, but when we're looking for resources or for information to share with our class, we will use Google search. So I'm going to do a quick search for Vikings and just hit enter. Now, what I will find at the top here, this isn't a very specific search. I have 490 million results. You'll see that along here. So it tells you that this search maybe wasn't the most specific. This is something that you could have your students do as well as a bit of a digital skill for digital literacy in effective search techniques. So they can start with this number, and let's see if we can make that more specific. Now, I'm not going to want to watch the series on Amazon. That's just not interesting to me. And I'm looking for teaching resources. So a resource we might have is maybe a PDF. So if I just type in PDF at the end of my search, instantly you'll see at the side here, I've now got 19 million results. I'm not going to do that maths. My brain's not that switched on today. So I am now seeing PDFs of the Vikings. So I can go on to this from the Oxford University Press, and you'll see it's opening up a PDF. So I've not had to go traipsing through all the internet, 490 million results to find these PDFs. This is here now. The first time you click on it, it does take a minute to load for some of them. But once you've been on it once, it is a lot faster for it to load. So you'll see I've got a PDF there. Now, I could use this and I could download it. I could always take the link and pop that into my Google Classroom as a resource for my students to review as well. So by clicking on that, you'll see it does load a lot faster the second time. This link along the top, you can then share. So again, we can share that with each other. We can share that with our colleagues. So if you are team teaching or if you're planning with your faculty, you could share that quite easily. Now, obviously, you don't have to search Vikings. You can search something that's more relevant to you, something that you're actually going to use with your class or use for your subjects. And then you can see that simply by putting that PDF in there, I got PDF results. And we can see that file type just at the left-hand side. I zoom in ever so slightly. You can see that appear next to the name of the web link. The next thing I'm going to show you, if I just remove PDF from the end of this here, hit enter. So I'm back to that 490 million results. I'm now going to click on the button that says settings. Now, previously I have shown you the tools one, and we will recap that later. But this settings one is where we can get to the advanced search. And this is where we can save even more time as well. So if we click on settings followed by advanced search, I zoom out just so you can see the full range here. So this allows us to search the database that is Google search. So by going here, we can look for Vikings, we can look for specific words related to that topic, or if you're doing a search more relevant to your class, put in all the words that you want it to search in that point there, and you'll see that it's got some examples down the right hand side to help us. Again, this is a great thing for your students to also do, just so that they can get used to using advanced search techniques. So I'm going to, you could put in any of these words. I'm not going to do that bit, but that's just because I can't really think of much words for Vikings at the moment. You can then search for the words from results from different languages. So from here, right now it's searching any language. I quickly make this English and then do advanced search. Let's see, search English pages, you'll see at the top here. So now it's only going to give me that. And now it's not telling me exactly how many results I got there, but not to worry. Now, if I come back into advanced search, and I am now going to look at this file type. This is the one for us teachers. That is the best one, I always think, because if we click on file type, we can search for PDFs, we can search for Word documents, and we can also search for PowerPoints. Now, these are probably our most used. There are other options there as well, but certainly for us, it's likely that we're going to want PowerPoint files, Word files, or PDFs. If I click on the PowerPoint one and do the advanced search now, you will see where it's got that file type. Now, if you just put PPT at the end, it doesn't always do it. You need to do this file type. So what you will see and what your students may get used to, if I just zoom in, you'll see that if you put that file type : PPT all together in the search, that's an advanced search technique. That advanced search menu allows it to do it for us. So kind of like the Explore tool in Google Sheets, we don't need to remember all of this. If we just say we want a PowerPoint in advanced search, it will get that for us. So I can then click on this one here, the Vikings, and you'll see it's very difficult because I can't zoom in. It's now downloading a PowerPoint for me. Will it let you pick more than one format? I don't think so at once. I think if you're looking for a PowerPoint, it'll look for the PowerPoint, and then it'll look for, you can then go and look for the docs and the PDFs. If I click on this now, I've never used this before, but here we go. I've got the Vikings PowerPoint is downloaded to my PC. I could then share that again as a material in my classroom, or when we're back to that in-person teaching, whenever that will be, I can then use this as a resource. Or if you're in a position where you're in a school that is using Google Meet, or you're recording videos ahead of time to share with your class, so you could use Screencastify, and you could record this PowerPoint and do your teaching alongside it. And again, I'm not expecting you all to be doing the Vikings, just the easiest thing that came to my head this morning. Then we can come in and we can edit this as well, and we could always add in our own notes or questions to go along with it to use. So that's the PowerPoint one. So that was in settings, advanced search. I've got the language set to English just because I'm unfortunately not multilingual and cannot read many other languages. And you can also look for the region. So you could look for the United Kingdom as well. So it's more relevant to us and more relevant to what our learners will experience in terms of curriculum, whether it's from the Scottish curriculum or English curriculum, for example. You can also use safe search at this point. So it will filter explicit results, or you can have it show most relevant. Safe Search is switched on for your education account, so you shouldn't need to worry about it not filtering at this point. And then there's also the usage rights. Now, this isn't so great for file types because most of them are not filtered by a license. But if you do want to make sure that you're safe to reuse something and modify, make sure you've gone for one of these bottom two versions. The searches I tested earlier, I was getting 0 results. So certainly something to play about with there. You can also look at the timing. So if you're looking for resources that you want to be more relevant, certainly if you're doing any research for a university degree as well, you can always look at something from the last year. So, you know, it's an up-to-date and relevant resource. Or if you're looking for something that's from the news or something that's been discussed in the news recently, you can obviously look at the last day, week, or month, which is also very handy. So I am going to come out of this now, and I'm going to do my search again, just with Vikings there. Like that. So now I'm going to show you this tool. So you'll see right now we've got 484 million results. These are all the ones that have English language. If I click on tools, you'll see it's English pages. Anytime, again, we've got this, but we can customize that range from this point. I'm going to say from the past year. If I get rid of tools, I've now got 79 million results. So as a task for your students or for yourself, look at how specific that result is. Look at how few results you're getting. The more specific your result is, typically going to be more of what you're actually looking for rather than clicking on all those links. I don't know if any of you ever actually make it to the second page of Google, but if you scroll down to the bottom, there are many pages. I don't know who goes to that second page or the 5th page. I know I never do. I just try and search until the first page has got what I want on it. So now I can look at all results, or I can have it verbatim, or I could have from the past week. So let's see how few results. 6.8 million. So again, even more specific. So give those a go. That's really the main bit for me for that Google search part. So this is where I'm going to show you another one of my little favorite Google tools. So I am going to show you Google Trends, which is using the Google search database to analyze trends across the world of what people are searching for. So Google Trends is a website on its own. If you want to search for it, you can just search Google Trends. We can Google it. This is typically where I find it. So if you search Google Trends, there's trends.google.com. This won't appear in your 9-tile menu. So trends.google.com. This is where we can explore what people are searching for around the world. So on the home page, it typically compares Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian, the World Cup, or football or American football as well. So it gives you some examples of what you can search. This is a great one. Certainly right now we can compare what is in the news, or you can search politicians. You can see when spikes happen. You can search sporting events, anything in this bit here. Certainly something that is of interest to you. So if I pop in my search, I tend to put in the rugby is normally my search that I will use. And then you can see over time, we have this spike here. And then it dips right down. So this is in the United States. So at this point, it was the World Cup. Now I can go worldwide and we can see where that same interest was again at that same point, and it will tailor off at end. Or I can go into the United Kingdom. If I scroll, or I can just search it, it's probably faster. United Kingdom. And you'll see we've got this spike as well when the Six Nations was happening in the UK. Obviously, that has not finished yet. So we've got that there. We can see where there's most searches. We can look at the past 12 months. We can look at the past 5 years. Past 5 years is typically quite a nice one to do, just because you get the spikes when there are different events going on. You can also search and compare. So if I compare this with football, and obviously football is searched a lot more because there's American football as well. We can compare this and you'll see the difference in the graph. So this is a really nice tool for that data analysis. You can then share the graph as well, or you can download it as a CSV file, which works as a spreadsheet. And then you can see interest for rugby. You can see by the region. If I make this worldwide, you'll see how this compares across the world. We can also look at 2004 to present, and this is basically the entirety of Google search. So that is the lifespan of Google search there, certainly from when they started to gather this data. And what you will notice, this is what I quite like, this is where you see those spikes of the World Cups, where it's every 4 years. This is one of my nice tools that I like to share, just as a useful way of going from that Google search and seeing what's happening there. Now, if I come into the menu, so like in Google Classroom, it's got this 3 lines at the top left. I call it the hamburger menu. Some people call it the hot dog. If I click on that there, I can look at trending searches. So this is looking at, initially it tends to look at the United States. Yes, so in this little drop-down menu, I've got the United States. I will need to scroll to get to the United Kingdom, but then you can compare what's being searched. So right now we've got UFC, we've got some celebrities in there, we've got real-time searches, what's breaking news, and you can see the little graphs next to that as well. So you can see when it has been a peak search, or if it's something that's been searched quite a lot over a long period of time. Another great thing now, this is something where you need to Google search Google Trends Visualiser. So that's the Google Trends, I'll do that search with you. So Google Trends Visualiser, if I can spell. And is it going to show up for me here? Google Trends Visualiser, maybe need the Z. Oh, it's not coming. Oh, it's because I've got English pages. Hang on. There we go. My advanced search was failing me there. So I've got the Google Trends Visualisers that I can use. Now I've got this loaded already. So this is the Google Trends Visualiser, and this is where it just shows you trends that are happening across the world. Now, when you first use this, you're not going to have all these tiles. You've got the 9 tiles in the top left, but this time we can drag. So initially you'll have 1, and then we can drag this to expand. So this is right now, this is anywhere in the world. These are just trends that people are searching. It's not in real time, but these are the things that are trending. What I do really like about this in terms of an approach to different cultures and different languages as well, you can see that some languages right from the left to the right to the left, and others right from the left to the right, as we normally do. So you can see what's happening around the world. When I'm delivering training, I quite like to pop this up on the board at the front, just to capture people's attention. Certainly students love to watch this and see if they know of any of the things. Certainly when you have it set to all regions at the bottom left, they really enjoy being able to see what's going on and see what's trending. You can make this more specific. So by selecting down at the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see this all regions option. I select that and then select United Kingdom. You'll see these are the hot trends. So these are the trending searches from the UK. Now I'm going to come out of this now because that's all this does. It's a nice tiled color screensaver. If I come back to my Google Trends, so this is back to that normal Google Trends part here. I'm going to click on the 3 lines, and this is where I really like this year in search. This is a fantastic tool for just sharing with learners, doing a bit of a project on it as well. The year in search at the top, now because I haven't got this linked through the Chrome browser tab, you're not going to get the sound, but this will play a nice little video. Now I tend to have closed captions switched on my computer, and this is where you can see a video. So Google will create videos at the end of each year showing you what the trending search was, and last year's search was superheroes. So it'll be interesting to see what the search trends are for this year, for example, given the current climate that we're living in. So this video, I will say, is absolutely lovely. It's one that is very, very, it's got a very strong message about what a hero is, and you'll see that as it goes through. The music in these is always very nice. So to get that again, so that was the 3 lines when I'm on Google Trends. Year in search is the one that you're looking for. So that is trends.google.com. Go to the 3 lines at that top left corner up here, and then year in search. Then from this, you have the year in search overview. Now at the top right, we have the year. So this is for 2019. There are some that are only, when it comes to the bottom part, that's US only. Don't know why there's not for 2010, but you can go through and you can see for the year in search in 2018, you can look at the different videos, and some of these are really nice teaching tools. I love sharing the videos. Certainly last year's superhero one is my favorite that there's been so far. Then when we scroll down, you can see what was trending. So this is automatically coming up on the United States search. So if I scroll to get to the United Kingdom, and it's also interesting, you could spark conversations about why some countries aren't available. So for example, Google tools are not enabled in China, so you wouldn't be able to see what was trending in China, for example. So I've got the United Kingdom, so you can see what was trending for just searches, what is as well, which is quite nice. So what is GDPR? Certainly that was a big search that I was doing in 2018, given my line of work. And you can look at news events, TV shows, sporting events. All of this is quite lovely, just to go over and see what was trending and spark those conversations. Likewise for 2019, I can do the same, and you can compare. So certainly by the end of this year, it'll be interesting to see what was trending in 2020. I think we can probably guess what is going to be what is coronavirus, what is COVID-19, and searches and how to probably make your own face mask. So it's interesting to see how this shapes up as different things are going on in the world, and you can kind of tell a story of what's going on in the world as well from this. So I put captions on in my videos because my PC does not have speakers. So if I'm watching YouTube on here, in any YouTube video, you can pop on the captions. It's this little kind of, I don't know if I can zoom in. Along the bottom, you've got the closed captions option, settings, and then you've also got the ability to share it with your TV. So the closed captions one, I certainly use quite a lot, more so when I'm working off my PC, as it has no speakers. Useful. So certainly I would say watch this when you can. Even challenge your students to make their own one, and that would always be a useful thing. Is there a way to look at previous Google Doodles? Oh, Google Doodles. Let's see. I'll Google it, shall I? Google Doodles, yes, there we go. So you can go into google.com/Doodles, then there's the Doodles archive. So this is where you can go through and see all the different doodles, and you could always have a competition with your students for them to design their own. Google do have competitions each year, I think, for students to design a doodle. So you can Google when that is. I'm not too sure when that typically is. There are some doodles that obviously have got games. The Pac-Man one is a favorite of mine. So you can go through this, explore it, or have it as a talking point. So this is certainly something that I quite like to go into. I have been through this recently, and I know Google are recycling some of their most popular doodles from the past. But yep, just to recap, so we've got in our Google search, I was using Vikings as my search. Initially, I started with quite a lot of results. Using that settings, advanced search, I can then filter by the language, file type. We discussed the PDF, the PowerPoint, or the Microsoft Word. If I search for PowerPoint, you'll see my results have gone down to 1,100. Massive jump down. Definitely not doing that maths. I can then click on any of these to download the PowerPoint, and you'll see it's downloaded at the bottom there. And I've got that PowerPoint for me to be able to use in teaching. It's worth noting as well, for those of you who don't have Screencastify, if you're using a Windows laptop, within PowerPoint, you can insert and you can do a screen recording. Now, I can't do that on this one. But when you're on this normally, I think this is just because this is an older PowerPoint, I can insert a screen recording. It's grayed out there. Let me just open up a new PowerPoint very quickly. So I can then go insert screen recording and do a screen recording from there. So you're then able to do your own screen recordings without having the Chrome extension. And also, once we're in search, we can use the tools to look at the time as well, so make it more relevant to you. And then the last thing I just showed you was Google Trends. So trends.google.com. You can search topics. I quite enjoy doing this. See if there's something that you're interested in. You can see where it's been searched quite a lot around the world. You can compare countries with that. And this year in search is a really lovely resource to use in your teaching with the videos that come at the top. If you do want to use one of these videos with your class, if you select play, you can then get the share button at the top right, and then you can get that link to share in your classrooms. And certainly worthwhile discussion points as well. And someone asks if there's all the Google Doodles. So google.com/Doodles will give you most recent Google Doodles that there are. So I'm going to stop recording now. And any questions,